The following is a presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Broadcasting from the campus of Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia, the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show is on the air. Your chance to hear from Liberty Women's Basketball head coach Carey comes your way on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. The Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show is presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show is also brought to you by Carter Bank, Life Lived Full, Earthright Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Freedom Heating and Air, serving those who serve us. Carl Miller Realty, caring, competent, trusted advisors. Lynchburg Nissan, nobody beats our prices, nobody. Sentry Exteriors, experience and quality you can trust. Schedule a free estimate at sentryexteriors.com. And by Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow.
The Hodges with 5 at the top of the arc. She dumps it inside to Smuda. Smuda scoops to the hoop and scores. Beautifully run offense by the Lady Flames.
Now let's talk Liberty Flames women's basketball. Here's your host, the voice of the Lady Flames, Jamie Hall.
Welcome into this week's Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show. We've got an action-packed program for you. Some huge wins for the Lady Flames this week, and we'll talk with head coach Carey Green about that a little bit later on in the show and preview what will be a fun weekend for multiple reasons. FIU, one of the toughest teams in the conference, physical team, they're going to be in on Saturday, but it's also an alumni event where a lot of former Lady Flames are going to be in town, and it's going to be awesome to kind of catch up with them. So this is probably my favorite week of the year, especially because of the two great victories out west against UTEP and New Mexico State, and the anticipation of seeing some very I guess I shouldn't say old faces, some familiar faces, right, yeah. some faces from the past that we're all very excited to talk to. But we're also excited to talk to Brooke Moore, who is our featured Lady Flame this week. And Brooke, first of all, welcome into the show.
Thank you, Jamie. Glad to be here.
It's always tough when we have these conversations because in my brain, I don't know why this is the case, but I always want to get the negative out of the way first.
Because the good news is it just feels better than the bad news. You
exactly.
know what I mean? Yeah, so
exactly.
It's like a good little switch up.
The negative that I want to, it's kind of the elephant in the room, is the just devastating injury that you had last year. And I know at this point in your life, you're probably sick of talking about it. Probably everybody in your family, and the physical therapists that you're having to deal with, and the doctors and your teammates, and everybody's just asked you about that ad nauseum over the last almost 4 years. It's almost been a full year now.
Yeah.
But we haven't talked about it.
Right,
and so the folks that maybe don't even know what happened last year, maybe they just are unaware. They, she didn't play a lot at the end of last year, but they don't know why. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to that day. And I know that was not a fun day. It was a dark day. It's probably one of the worst days of your life.
Yeah.
But how did it look from your perspective that day?
Well, that's a long story. So we were in Miami playing FIU, who we play on Saturday. And I think it was like the first quarter. Like it was like really like short into the game. And I was kind of on the left wing, and I was like kind of doing like a little banana cut trying to get that layup. And so when I took off to get the layup, I think I either took the layup or I passed it to Bella. I think I passed it to Bella. And when I came down, the girl kind of hit me. And then I think my ankle like turned on her foot. And it was just like an immediate just like snap. And at first, like when I hit the ground, I got back up and I thought I was like cramping at first. So I was trying to walk it off. But then I was like, I can't even walk it off. Like it's just, the pain is just, it was unbearable. Like it was terrible.
Worst pain you've ever,
Worst pain I've ever experienced, for sure.
Obviously, when an athlete gets injured and it's a traumatic injury, everybody rushes to you. Do you remember anything from the next few moments, or was it all a blur from that point?
I remember their other trainer coming over to me and just like asking me like questions like, do you need help like walking off? And I was like trying to look for Laura. Then Laura finally came, and then I remember they put me into this like, there was like a tent in the gym. I don't know what the tent was for, but I guess it was for injuries if something happened. So I went into the tent, and then I was just crying so much. It was just hard. And then I remember Will like holding like my leg in place just to make sure like nothing happened. And then everybody was just like surrounding me, trying to figure out like what the best like next step was to do. And then from there, I just went to the emergency room. So yeah.
Surgery wise, after that as well, I mean, they had to put some hardware in.
Yeah, they put like a plate, and the plate's about like that long, and it's really thin, but it's like pretty long. And then they put like a device in my fibula connected to my tibia to make sure like it just like stays strong and like put, just like for extra like reinforcement. But yeah, so the surgery went well. Dr. P is amazing. I trusted him with everything. So yeah, I'm just glad I'm back.
I don't know why I asked those questions. I know that there's people that are listening right now like, oh, we didn't need to know about the plate and the screws and the this and the that. But stuff like that, unfortunately, kind of fascinates me a little bit, including this aspect of it. Does it cause you any trouble at TSA?
Actually, no.
Okay.
I thought I was going to have like more difficulty, like kind of like just processing that like in my mind, you know what I mean? Because I don't like stuff like to do with surgery like at all. But I'm kind of used to seeing my scar every day. Put cocoa butter on it, just see it every day. So yeah.
It doesn't set off the metal detectors in convo?
It's done it once. Yeah. I was so embarrassed. I was like, I'm good. I have nothing to hide. I'm good. So yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Well, you hear stories of like war veterans too that have shrapnel that just is embedded in some body part.
Yeah.
And that years and years later, every time they go through the airport or every time they go through a ball game to try to get in, it sets it off, and you got to explain, well, and then, okay, yeah, there's no knife there. We know you're good. We know you're all right.
Yeah.
The road to recovery, and I guess technically, in some ways, Coach Green has sort of mentioned that your availability as far as practice has even been limited throughout this season, as far as having some limitations on the amount of minutes that you can practice and you can play. Where are you right now as far as to 100%?
Right now I'm 100%. I had my doctor's appointment like early January just to make sure everything was like clear and good to go. And yeah, I'm fully practicing with the team. No more light or hard days, just fully in it, ready to go.
But it took until the beginning of January.
Yeah.
So that was an 11-month process, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the toughest part getting through all that?
I know people say like the physical part is obviously like tough, but I feel like the mental part of just like trusting your body again is definitely like the hardest part to get through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like even now, like when I go up for a layup, I'm like, oh, last time I did this, something happened. So it's just about, trusting the process, trusting like what you did in rehab every single day to get you to this point. And so I just think that just knowing that and just having faith in what I can do and what everybody else has like provided me with has been kind of like the hardest part, but it's been good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And not that this is a good thing, but you have several teammates that have had injuries, not exactly the same injuries, but ACL type injuries or things like that, that have had to go through that same mental hurdle of, I'm afraid. I was talking to Peen earlier this year, and that was one of the things that she had to get over. Like, it happened on a Euro step, so that first 2 or 3 Euro steps after she got back and was cleared, it just took a minute for her to get that confidence back. Have you been able to have kind of that support system with some of the other girls that have dealt with similar injuries?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like me and Peen, like during my recovery, we talked like every single day about like what we're going through, because she went through the same thing, Emma Iceland went through the same thing, and Caroline went through the same thing. So it was just good to have them, just to support me and just like talk through everything that I'm going through, just to know that I'm not alone in the process.
Well, I can say this. Judging by your vertical on some of the rebounds that you go up and get, it doesn't look like it took that long for you to get back to where you went.
Yeah.
Are you jumping even higher now than before?
Yeah, I am, for sure. If you like talk to Will, like I was because I feel like that was like the main thing I wanted to get back and like improve on. And so like it took a long time for me to get to the point to like jump higher than I usually do. And so, yeah, it was just a lot of like jumping tests, a lot of front squats, a lot of box jumps, a lot of stuff to get to that point for sure.
The box jumps, that's just probably, I'm using my hands like that means anything to the people that aren't watching the video. If they're listening on the podcast, they have no idea that I put
like,
my.
What is he doing?
But how high up off the ground is a box jump?
I think it's like 24 inches.
And
Don't check me on that though, but I think it's 24 inches.
And that's no run up. That's just stationary to 24 inches.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, especially coming off of an injury. How close are you to being able to dunk a ball?
So I can dunk a tennis ball right now, and I haven't tried dunking a basketball in like a few months actually. So I think I'm pretty close. I just have to get like a couple more inches.
Yeah, I don't know why I notice it more on your rebounding than I do on a layup, because you're obviously still jumping. You're trying to get up to the rim when you're laying it in. But on those rebounds, I think maybe it's because there are much taller players that your hand is, their hand is at your elbow, and you just kind of notice that on a rebound, maybe more so than you do on a block shot, because usually if you're going up for a layup, the defender, it could be a post that's coming over on help, but a lot of times it's someone your size, and you're way above them. But when you see yourself going above Bella, that's when I know, okay, she's got some hops. Everything looks pretty good again. Well, congratulations on getting through that 11-month process, because
that.
I know there's a lot of people that would have easily given up or not wanted to come back and take a year off or whatever. But the fact that you kind of fought through that, have you exceeded your goals and expectations for this point in your return?
See, personally, I'm like a very like perfectionist, so I'm not like satisfied with anything, but for sure, like I'm grateful like in the position that I am. I'm grateful that like I'm better than I was before, and I'm still just trying to get better, just trying to focus on those little things and just trying to do what's best for the team. So, yeah.
On that last road trip at UTEP and the New Mexico State, you got a little bit banged up. We didn't see in the UTEP game, but in the New Mexico State game, it had to feel pretty good. Even though I know you didn't get a ton of minutes, you were still kind of probably under some sort of minutes restriction. But that Coach Green said, I need you to go in and I need you to guard Kaiser, probably the best player in the conference right now.
So good, so good.
And get a big stop right before the end of the quarter. How did it feel when he trusted you to go in and make that stop?
Yeah, that felt good. Of course, it's like good to know that your coach like trusts you, like locking down like the best player on the other team. You know what I mean? And she's just an amazing player. She's good at like literally everything. So yeah, it was a difficult challenge, but I'm glad I could get it done. So it was good.
And nobody stops her. And that's that old saying: you don't try to stop her, just try to contain her. Or you can't stop her, you can only contain her. And they said that about Michael Jordan, and they said that about Kobe Bryant and LeBron or whoever. They're going to get their points, but you want to kind of keep them in check to where. But you don't want to overplay them at the same time to where now somebody else gets 20 that only normally gets 5 because they're getting wide open layups all night. So what is the challenge in playing someone so dynamic like her?
I would just say that you have to just be on your feet. You have to be ready for everything, because she can shoot the three, she can attack the ball, she can pull up drives, she can literally do everything she can do everything. So I feel like just being on your toes and just being aware, and even off ball, like she had at least like 10 backdoor cuts on us and like just scored off of like every one of those. So I feel like just being aware, being on your toes, being active with your hands, and just trying to because I was taller than her and I was longer than her, so I was trying to use like my length to my advantage a little bit to make her a little bit uncomfortable. And so, but yeah, just trying to contain her and make her uncomfortable and just make it difficult for her, for sure. Yeah.
Well, how about we take a quick break, and then when we come back, we've talked about the on-court stuff and the injury recovery and all the, good and bad with that. But let's talk about off the court and maybe a little bit in the classroom, because I think you teased this a little bit when you and I were talking off the air, that there's a bit of a change from the last time we had a conversation.
Yeah.
And so I'm anxious to let everybody know about that and learn more about it myself. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, more with Brooke Moore.
Thank you.
Here on the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show.
Save big during Lynchburg Nissan's Model Year-End Sales Event. Get $8,200 off remaining Pathfinders in stock. Plus, every vehicle comes with our unbeatable 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. Stock is limited, so hurry into Lynchburg Nissan or shop 24/7 at lynchburgnissan.com.
What's important isn't that Freedom First has been in business since 1956. What's important is how we've been doing business since 1956. Since day one, we have been accountable to our members, not stockholders. We make loans that cost less, offer savings plans that pay more, and give back to our community, and that hasn't changed. What has changed is our ability to serve you with more locations and more technology to simplify your financial life. Freedom First. It's a place where anyone in our region can bank for good.
You're listening to the Liberty Women's Basketball Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Today's show will continue after this 1-minute timeout on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Turn up the heat. Foster Fuels is a proud partner of Liberty Athletics. Fostering warm moments for 100 years, Foster has been providing exceptional propane and gas services throughout Central Virginia and surrounding areas. From propane to fireplaces and tank installs to tankless water heaters, Foster does it all. Visit fosterfuels.com or download the app to order fuel, pay your bill, and more. Get the customer service you deserve and turn up the heat with Foster Fuels and the Liberty Flames.
Earthlight Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. With a focus on honesty, education, and excellence, they light the way to savings, home comfort, and a greener future. Educating homeowners about the power of solar and energy efficiency is their winning game plan. Give Earthlight Mid-Atlantic a call today at 434-200-9716 or visit erepower.com.
Lynchburg Nissan's Model Year-End Sales Event is here. Take advantage of 0% financing for 60 months on Classy Rogue or save up to $6,500 on Frontiers. Pair these deals with our exclusive 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. Visit Lynchburg Nissan today.
Back into this week's Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show with Brooke Moore. Brooke, last year at this time, we were talking about your career plans. And I know that's always a dangerous conversation when someone's a freshman because, I mean, we've had plenty of Lady Flames and friends of mine that were undecided until their junior year and took all their, their what do you call those, the general ed classes.
Oh, yeah.
And jumped into a major just in time to graduate, and they didn't know what they were going to do with their life until in about a year and a half before they had to go out and live a life.
Right, yeah.
So having said that, making a change between your freshman and sophomore year is not a big deal, but you did make a pretty big change since we talked last year. Tell us about it.
Okay, so my freshman year, I was exercise science major, and so I was just taking like a bunch of biology classes, and I wanted to be like a physical therapist, and just like work with like professional sports teams like when I got older and just like graduated and everything. But I decided that wasn't really for me. I wasn't really like a science person. I don't really like, I don't know, like seeing blood and all of that type of stuff. That's just not for me. So now my major is business administration, data analysis, and I'm minoring in sports management. And so now I want to be kind of like a sports agent, like negotiate contracts with like athletes and just kind of be like on that side of things. So yeah, I think that'll be really interesting. I think it kind of matches my personality like a little bit more. So I'm excited for that for sure.
You were talking about the two classes that you take on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it caught my attention because I was like, oh, how do these classes connect? But tell us about the two.
Yeah, so my 9:20 is sports management, and then my 12 o'clock is accounting. So accounting is like in the business area, and then sports management is in obviously the sports management area. So just trying to combine those two.
So your ultimate goal is to be something like, have you seen the movie Jerry Maguire?
I haven't. That name sounds familiar though, but I haven't seen it.
It's like a sports agent movie. Tom Cruise, Cuba Gooding Jr. And so you definitely, if you're wanting to be an agent, if you're wanting to go into that realm, I'm sure it's dramatized and things have changed a lot since then. Those were full-on professional athletes. Now you're talking about college athletes that are still, I don't know how we define college athletes anymore. You can't really say amateur because you've got some football players that are making $5 million, which is more than they would make if they were playing in the NFL as a rookie. So are they
crazy.
Semi-pro? I don't know what you say anymore. But but I think the thing that I've talked to some of your teammates about is having someone as an advocate for athletes, even in the beginning stages when they don't know what's going on. I mean, you walk in as a freshman and you're getting thrown some stuff at you that it's hard to kind of comprehend. Mm-hmm. And then we talk and then go to that level of someone who's LSU and Alabama are fighting for them to be their starting quarterback. Right. And there's some big figures that are going to get thrown around. Some tough decisions that have to be made. So is that kind of what you want to help with?
Yeah, it's a little bit of what I want to help with. I don't want to like put myself in a box of just like being just with college athletes or professional athletes, really just like athletes in general, I think. So yeah, just being on that side of things, seeing like the background of how contracts get like negotiated, even like marketing, like seeing how athletes can like build their brands, helping them with that. Really just like a bunch of stuff I want to I'm interested in, curious about. So
social media aspect as well.
Yeah.
We say that as TikTok's been in the news the last week or so.
R.I.P. TikTok.
Is it on? Is it off? What's going to happen? But there's a lot of money to be made in those endeavors. Mm-hmm. Livy Dunn is a good example of, not that she's not a great athlete, she's I would say a good athlete, mm-hmm. probably an above average athlete.
Right.
Not an Olympian, but she's making more money, I'm guessing, than most Olympic gymnasts are going to make, or at least on the same level. Mm-hmm. And just because of her Instagram presence, TikTok presence, she's just making money off of those endorsements. So it's another world.
It is another world. And it's cool that like not all of like the highest paid like NIL athletes are like a part of the same sport. You know what I mean? So there's football, girls basketball, gym. Those are like the main like 3 sports that are like up there. But that's just cool to see. I don't know. I'm really interested in that, to see that.
In the last few weeks, we saw Dawn Staley sign the biggest contract ever for a women's basketball coach. And
that was insane. It's like $21 million or something like that over like 5 years.
Huge numbers.
Insane.
And there's an agent that helped negotiate that. So do you want to be in that war room?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'll be fun just to see what's going on around there. Yeah, I think I'll love that. I think I'll thrive in that environment for sure.
What would be, I guess, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because you've still got 3 years, basically left of college, and you might want to play some professional basketball. You might not jump straight into this right after college, but if you could pick 1 or 2 athletes right now that you could represent when you get out of college, maybe 5 years from now. So we're probably dealing with need to be some younger athletes because LeBron ain't gonna be playing by the time.
That was my first answer. Let me see. Let me think. I really like Coco Gauff, the tennis player. Coco Gauff. Let's get some other sports in there. Maybe Shedeur Sanders, Colorado.
Yeah.
Those are only 2 that I'm really thinking about right now. I'm like blanking on everybody else.
Some of those golfers make some big money too.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you think about, how great would it have been to have been Tiger Woods' agent when he first got in?
That would have been insane. Crazy.
You may be still learning this process. I don't know the answer to my own question. Mm-hmm. If you're the agent of the athlete, you're negotiating the contract with the team, you're negotiating the contract with the league, I guess, but are you also getting a cut of the Nike money?
I think for sure, right? Yeah, because you have to get your money somehow, right? So I'm not really sure how that works or anything, but I'm guessing they do, right?
If that's the case, then I would just could you imagine the person representing Tiger and all? I mean, he's made $1 billion from Nike.
Right.
Michael Jordan has probably made more than that from Nike over the years.
Yeah.
I just want what their agent pays in taxes. I don't even need to make what their agent makes. Just whatever their agent has to pay in taxes, can I have that salary and I'll be good. Like, I'll be happy for the rest of my life off of that. But yeah, there's some big numbers out there.
Yeah.
And then you got the Caitlin Clark effect. I thought maybe that
I forgot about Caitlin Clark. I don't know how I forgot about her.
Into your mind.
Yeah. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. Yeah, for sure them. Yeah.
Because I mean they're already doing good, but you know as the sport continues to grow and the WNBA continues to grow and all these other ventures too. I mean, they're doing a lot of stuff outside. When Caitlin Clark was playing in some golf tournament, and so I'm sure they had to pay her bank for her to be willing to do that because she's not a golfer, you know.
Right.
Like, so, oh, I'm going to embarrass myself out on the golf course. You're going to have to pay me a lot of money to go do that.
Right. Write that check immediately.
That's right. So there's a lot. That's the thing. That's the fun part of the job that you're going to do is.
Yeah.
Somebody had to come up with that idea. Hey, Caitlin, you can play a little bit of golf. Why don't we put you with a professional golfer and this, and you know, maybe we can get Tiger involved. We can get, you know, and who thinks of that? But somebody did, and it made a ton of money because the ratings were through the roof. They got more ratings than an average professional golf tournament does on a weekend. So, did you? I'm going to put you on the spot again.
Okay.
See, you don't have to answer today, but maybe the next time we talk, think of some creative ideas of something like this.
Will. I got you.
Crossover sports, maybe, or even okay. Let's put who's one. We'll use one of our own players as an example. Let's figure out a way to put Bella in a NASCAR.
Right.
She'd be
so tall for the car.
Not a lot of 6'5" to 6'8", type NASCAR drivers.
Yeah.
There's been a few though, but she'd be one of the tallest drivers for sure.
We make it work. We make it work for sure.
Off on a tangent. How's your driving?
It's good. I really think because some of my teammates kind of give me crap for a little bit of my driving, but I think I'm a good driver for sure. Like I'm solid, I'm cautious, but I'm not too slow. I go at the good speed. So,
could you ever see yourself? I mean, not professionally, but they have those fan experiences where you can get in an actual NASCAR and drive it around the track for 3 or 4 laps. Could you ever see you doing something like that?
I'm not sure. I'm kind of scared of that.
It is scary.
I don't know. That would be so scary, but I might do that one day.
How about riding the passenger seat when the guy's driving? The guy who knows what he's doing is driving at 150, 180.
I don't think so. I don't think I could do that.
Now, that's interesting because athletes tend to have, like you're an adrenaline junkie. We were talking to Asia, and it was right in her wheelhouse to do aviation because it was the adrenaline of flying. And I don't know. Do you think... I think a good portion of your teammates probably would do that, don't you?
100%. Like the first person that comes to mind is Peen. She would definitely do that. Who else? I feel like Anna would do that too. And maybe, no, not Jordan. Not Jordan at all. I don't think she would even go in the car. But definitely those two come in mind. I feel like they would definitely do that.
I don't know if this would I don't know if the Liberty Insurance would allow this, but if the team went out to a go-kart track, everybody's got the helmets on, they got all the safety gear on, who wins?
Oh, me, 100%.
Okay.
I love go-karting.
Okay.
I love go-karting, yeah.
Now that's pretty high speed.
Yeah, it is high speed. But I'm in control though, so it's not as bad. You know what I mean? So,
I think though I feel like once you got in and you felt that, you got the restraint on, you got the helmet on, you feel secure.
Yeah. I
think you do okay.
Yeah,
I think you do
so.
better than you think you would do.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll test it out one day.
Is there any other sports that you have played or dabble with or are interested in learning?
Interested in learning that I've played personally?
Yeah.
I've done volleyball, softball, track, soccer, what else? Lacrosse a little bit.
So all team sports, basically.
Yeah, a lot of and tennis. I played tennis.
Okay, tennis. That's one that you could be 50 years old, and that's still a way to kind of stay in shape
yeah.
and have a little bit of fun. And not that you can't play basketball when you're 50 years old. I mean, Alexis Sherrard is still in great shape and plays basketball multiple times a week. But sometimes as you get older, you get to the point where maybe you're picking up a pickleball racket or a racquetball racket or something like that. So those are some fun sports. You ever play golf?
I actually did play golf. Yeah, my dad, one summer, he put me into this golf camp. I was so mad. I did not want to go at all. But it was I think it was a 3-week long camp or something like that. And I actually learned a lot.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I got better at it. So
is this something you think maybe once you get to that point where you're not hooping, you might want to pick up some golf clubs again?
Maybe. I don't. It's so boring for me though. I think I need some more adrenaline rush. You know what I mean? Okay. Something where I can run or do something. But yeah, golf is cool.
Okay. All right. Music? Did you do any music growing up?
Yeah, I played piano, the clarinet, and then I think that was it. Yeah.
Could you still tickle the ivories if you needed to?
It's a little bit, yeah. Don't put me on the spot though. I can't do it if you ask me.
Okay.
I need a little bit of time.
So if we're walking through the Charlotte airport and they've got that piano out there, what? Even if we bribed you with free, what's your favorite food?
Pizza.
Free pizza. You're gonna no, not.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I could play Mary Had a Little Lamb, that little melody.
I might be able to do that.
Right. I could do that solid.
Chopsticks.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, well, that's good to know though, because I've talked to some of your teammates that had a little bit of musical background, and we kind of thought, well, we could maybe we could get a band together. So we know that if it ever gets to the point that we needed a keyboard player, you might need a little bit of a refresher. You might be a little rough around the edges to start with, but you've got the training. You could do it.
I got the potential.
You got the potential.
Yeah. So but Ife's really good at the piano.
Is
for
she?
sure. Yes.
Okay.
She is.
All right. We haven't talked to her yet. We'll have to. I'll bring a keyboard in and we'll force her to play a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to find a percussionist. I don't think we've got a drummer.
What about the singer?
Oh.
That's
who
important.
Well, you tell me. Who would be the singer on the team?
Singer? I'm gonna have to go Claudia. Claudia Essine.
Really?
Yeah. She's really good at singing.
Oh, it's
for sure.
I just picture her singing Shakira songs or
she mostly
Selena
just
Gomez.
I can see Selena Gomez too. Yeah, but she sings a lot of her Spanish songs and stuff. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be fun. That would mean that the band has to be high tempo, up tempo.
Right.
This isn't a ballad band. If you're going to be doing Spanish music, you're going to have to be pretty energetic. So, all right, we'll have to keep working on that. What keeps you entertained? When you've got a day off, nothing to do?
I really try to do nothing on our day offs for sure. I try, because Anna's my roommate, so sometimes we'll watch a movie, we'll cook together.
How's her cooking?
She's a really good cook.
Okay.
Yeah, she taught me how to make this pasta last summer or this summer, and that's the only thing that I make. I make that pasta every single time I cook. So good. But you want to know the recipe?
Yeah, a little bit more about it.
So it's really simple. It's just penne pasta with ground beef. Put some bell peppers in there, onions. Season the ground beef with garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, and yeah.
What sauce are we dealing with?
Just traditional pizza sauce.
Okay.
Yeah, but not too much though. Not too much.
So it's in the neighborhood of spaghetti.
Yeah, it's like spaghetti.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
We have these. Usually, we do these interviews around lunchtime. So when I start talking about food, it just makes me hungry, which makes me want to ask more questions about food. But and you said pizza's your favorite. That's your go-to.
Yeah, pizza or that pasta. Really. I really eat everything, so it's hard to really name my favorite food for sure.
Desserts? Are you a big dessert person?
I love strawberry cheesecake.
Okay. All right.
So good.
So we're working out what your perfect meal is. Maybe a pizza flatbread appetizer. You got your pasta for your main dish. And then now you've got your strawberry cheesecake for your dessert.
Yeah, or some sweet potato pie. That's so good.
All right.
Love
that. Somebody at Thanksgiving makes a sweet potato casserole that I forget if it's Coach or maybe he gets it made for him. I don't know, but I just remember being at his house for a holiday and that there was a sweet potato casserole that I didn't know I liked. I didn't know I liked sweet potatoes. And so, because that was like dessert. I mean, it really wasn't healthy at all, but it was really good.
Yeah. Did it have like the marshmallows and stuff in it?
Yeah. And some kind of nut. I don't know if it was pecans. You say pecans or
pecan?
Okay. Yeah. Some pecans. I got one friend who says pecans.
Pecans?
I know. Yeah.
Wow. Where is he from?
Mars? No, I'm just kidding. If he's watching, no, I'm not gonna make fun of you too much. But yeah. I don't. That was a new one on me.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. Wow.
I've heard someone say cashews.
Cashews?
Cashews.
Interesting.
I don't understand it. Maybe it's some European connection there. The British maybe. I don't know. But
something's going on.
Well, you've probably learned a lot of other languages during your time. If you say Anna and Claudia, and we've got Peen, and we've got the Iceland influence with Liz. And so have you picked up on any of their languages?
I have, yeah. I tried to ask like Liz and Emma to like teach me some Icelandic, but it's just it's like such a pretty language like to hear, but it's so difficult like trying to get it out of your mouth. You know what I mean? Because they use like so much like, I don't know, it's so hard to describe like how they talk, but it's just so difficult to say anything in that language. Like I've tried to take lessons, but it's really difficult.
Spanish?
Spanish, yeah. I know like a little bit.
Did you know some coming in?
Yeah,
Okay.
Just a little bit. Not much, just like a tiny bit.
Remind everyone where you grew up.
I grew up in Kennesaw, Georgia. It's like right outside of Atlanta.
Okay.
But I love it there. And I think we're playing Kennesaw State in March. I don't know
fun.
what the
A
date
little bit of
is.
a reunion.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool to go back there and see everybody. But yeah.
Is there a Spanish population around there, or did you just have to take it in classes?
We took it in classes, and it's like really diverse there too. So we got like a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it seems like Atlanta, especially the suburbs, can be that.
Yeah.
Like you said, diverse, a lot of different ethnicities and cultures there, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Which means there's a lot of good food there, because
100%.
the more cultures you have in a community,
The better, the more food.
absolutely, 100%. All right, well, I'm going to finish with this, because I asked you 1,000 questions. Mm-hmm. You answered them all, great. But I'm going to give you 2 segments here.
Okay.
If you could ask you a question, what would you ask you that you would want people to know? That was confusing.
Oh, okay.
And then the second one is you can fire a question at me.
Okay. So if I could ask myself a question that I would want people to know information about me,
Right.
what would it be?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's kind of difficult. Nobody's ever asked me that question before.
It could just be something that you'd like the world to know about.
The world to know about.
Something that you're passionate about. Something that you would like others to be passionate about.
Passionate about? I would say, I guess it's not really like a question. It's more like a statement. Does that work?
Yeah.
I say I'm like passionate about just like working with like kids and stuff like that. Cause like over the summer, I like work with the summer camp, and I actually have a picture on my phone of like all of them in here in this very room when I was just like talking about like the team and everything. And I feel like just like working with them was fun. Engaging with kids, teaching them things about basketball. So yeah, I feel like that's something kind of unique.
I know we've talked about your career, but could you see maybe as a sideline, on the weekends, maybe maybe you got kids of your own and you're coaching them, or coaching the neighborhood kids? Could you ever see yourself coaching?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I could see myself coaching. I feel like that's kind of like farther down the line once I gain like, some experience and stuff with working with kids and like that type of like area. But I could see myself doing that. Not ruling it out.
Okay.
So yeah.
Last bit.
For you?
Fire away.
Let's see. Okay, what's your favorite part about being like a radio host? Like, what do you enjoy the most about it?
These conversations, really. I mean, and that seems cliche, and it seems like, I'm just sucking up to your question right now, but it really is, because you learn some really fascinating things about you guys. I see you run up and down the court. I know a lot about your abilities. Mm-hmm. Coach Green talks about, you're gonna enjoy watching Brooke do this. You're gonna enjoy Liz doing, like, these two are going to get after it on defense. Look at Asia; she can. Like we learn a lot either visually seeing it or through the coaches telling us about what you guys have as far as attributes in the world of basketball.
Yeah.
But we don't always get to find out that you played piano when you were growing up,
Right.
or these other the wanting to help out with kids, and the fact that you want to be an agent and all. Those are the types of things that I find fun, because 5-10 years from now, when you've gone off and made a success of yourself and you come back for alumni day,
Yeah.
everybody's going to remember, oh, yeah, Brooke could jump out of the gym, and by her senior year, she was scoring 30 points a game. And, people can look in the record books for that, but having that knowledge of she really had a passion for kids, and now she comes back 10 years later and she's got 3 kids, and you go, oh, she's on cloud 9. Like, I know that right now, And so, those types of relational things and learning about people and kind of getting to know you guys more up close that's the fun part to me.
Right.
The games are, I hate to say it, but the games are almost, like riding a bike now. It's sort of, you want to try to mix things up, but you get on cruise control a little bit.
Got your routine and everything.
This game might have ended with a buzzer beater, and that game was a blowout, and so you have to do that a little differently. But for the most part, we've had buzzer beaters before. We've had blowouts before. I've called, every type of game you could imagine. Tennessee this year was a new one. I don't know that I've called a 93-point loss before.
That was insane.
That was crazy how much points were scored in that game. But yeah, that just kind of go with the flow. You want to try to listen to yourself and learn and continue to get better. But ultimately, it's these casual type conversations that are the most fun. And the travel.
Right.
Would you agree with that?
Fun.
Is that one of the fun parts of being a college basketball player, is getting to go to new cities and new places and see the country?
Yeah, for sure. Especially like going to like states like New Mexico and like Phoenix and stuff. Because like I don't think I would ever go to those states. You know what I mean? Because they're all like on the way, like in the West Coast area. So it's cool. Just like trying new food, seeing like the city, and just chilling.
I know it's early, but what's your favorite trip so far?
Favorite trip? Probably Phoenix. That was really fun. Yeah, and the weather was amazing. So that was cool.
Phoenix is a really nice part of the country. I've got some friends that live there, and so anytime I can make an excuse to go visit my friends, not that I don't want to see them, because I love you guys, but it's really nice to be able to go to Phoenix, and just because it's dry and it's they get wet. It can get cold in the winter, and it can rain and during the rainy season, but for the most part, it's just perfect. Yeah. Kind of like San Diego, the same way. I'm sure if we ask Asia, she'd go, yeah, San Diego.
Right. My brother's stationed in San Diego right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Okay, we got. I've taken us too long, but we will make time to add this last question.
Okay.
Tell us about your family, and let's start with your brother.
Okay. So I have 2 older brothers. We're all B's: Braxton, Brandon, and Brooke. And so Brandon is the one in the military. He went to the Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland.
Nice.
He played football for them the whole 5 years, I think, because he went to like a prep school first and then went to Naval Academy. Played football there. Trips were fun. Football games were amazing. He graduated, and now he's in San Diego right now, stationed. And it's really hard to describe like what he does, because I feel like in the military they have so many different like abbreviations and terms for every little thing. So I'm like, I have no idea what he does, but something with supply. That's what I know.
Okay.
So yeah, he's in San Diego right now. He's good, chilling. Talk to him a lot. And then my oldest brother Braxton, he's like 28. He still lives in Atlanta. It's like Midtown area. He went to Georgia Tech. He's like a software like associate kind of. That's like another like terminology, no idea about, just stuff with like computers and everything. But so he's good. Then my parents, of course, still live in Atlanta. My grandma. I have like a lot of family in Atlanta too, so everybody's kind of just like together there. But so that's a little bit about my family.
Seems like you have a really good support system.
100%. Yeah, I wouldn't be here where I am today without them.
Especially the last 11 months, I'm sure they've meant the world to you, I would guess.
100%. Like, I feel like that's one of the little instances where you kind of really like recap and just really think that like family is definitely like number one. You know what I mean? Because like without them, you would just fall down, wouldn't get anywhere. So I really love them for sure.
Well, I'm so glad that you're back out on the court,
Yeah.
that you're jumping even higher than you were jumping before. And I know it's a process that, and I know that's probably been tough too, that you weren't going to be able to come back and get the minutes you were getting, because that was one of the things I went back and I listened to part of our interview from last year, and was saying, "Oh, you're getting 14 minutes as a freshman. That's great, you know." And I know you'd love to get above that and above that and above that,
Right.
and I'm sure the injury kind of was a little bit of a setback in that regard, but. Just battling through what you've had to deal with and get back out on the court, and just proud to
Thank you, Jamie.
to watch you and to support you, and hopefully there's nothing but great things ahead, and go out there and, you know, like I was saying, at 30 points by the time you're a senior thing.
I got you.
I tried to sneak that in a little bit subliminal, but
little subtly, yeah.
you know, because you got a really nice shot, and
Thanks.
when you attack the basket, there's nobody better. So keep being aggressive.
Thank you.
Keep doing big things, and we'll follow you along the way.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Bye, guys.
That was Brooke Moore. We'll be back with head coach Carey Green right after this.
At Carter Bank, we believe life is best lived full of opportunities and dreams, of goals achieved and promises kept. We've been creating opportunities for more people and businesses to prosper since 1974. That means great local lending, convenient access to your money, accounts and guidance that make it easier to get more done. We are Carter Bank, the preferred community bank of Liberty Flames Athletics. Visit carterbank.com to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Curious about the Central Virginia housing market? Carl Miller Realty are your caring, competent, trusted advisors for real estate sales in Central Virginia. With over 100 years of combined experience, they are committed to helping clients make informed housing decisions. For a winning game plan and to discover the value of your home, visit carlmillerrealty.com to make your next move a slam dunk.
You're listening to the Liberty Women's Basketball Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Today's show will continue after this 1-minute timeout on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Thompson Brooks Insurance has been serving Virginia for over 40 years, helping individuals and businesses with their insurance and investment needs. The team at Thompson Brooks is experienced in understanding life and health insurance, Medicare, and retirement planning. Thompson Brooks Insurance can be reached at 434-385-8500 or online at thompsonbrooksinsurance.com. Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow.
Century Exteriors offers exterior home renovations, including but not limited to gutters, roofing, siding, home additions, and much more. Century Exteriors makes the process seamless. Call 434-239-6722 for a free on-site estimate or visit centuryexteriors.com and Century Exteriors on Facebook and Instagram. Century Exteriors is a proud supporter of Liberty Flames Athletics.
Welcome back into this week's show. We're now joined by head coach Carey Green. Coach, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jamie.
It was a fun week out west. Now, I know I'm not the one doing the travel plans. I'm not Sarah Baruta or Chelsea that's having to deal with hotels and deal with airports and deal with buses that get changed at the last minute and all those types of things. So I understand, I'm sure there were some challenges on that end. But from my perspective and from the players' perspective, everything went as smooth as you could ask, and you got 2 huge wins. It's tough to win on the road. We've talked about that all year. Ask Middle Tennessee. They lost at Western Kentucky over the weekend. It's tough to win road games in Conference USA, especially that second game when you've traveled so far and now you're worn down. They're sleeping in their bed, and it's and the same will be said for teams coming into Liberty Arena. It's going to be tough to win here, especially that second game after being road weary. But boy, your girls stepped up to the challenge, and I guess we'll go one by one. Let's start off with the UTEP game. More 3-pointers than you would have liked to have taken overall, especially in the first half of the game. But you kind of settled in as the game got into the third and fourth quarter, and it evened out a little bit, but you hit just enough threes to kind of keep a comfortable lead, and you ended up getting out of there with a nice victory.
Well, Jamie, I'm not sure the travel's fun, but the victories really made it worth it. And those are all challenges that not only we have, but everybody in our conference, or if you look at the ACC, how would you like to go from Stanford to Blacksburg and play Virginia Tech? I mean, it's brutal. And the landscape of athletics right now is it's a little out of whack. But the first game, as you're talking about, Texas El Paso, we shot a lot of threes because they're setting back in a zone, and actually opened up with a box and one on Emma Hess, and leaving both Avery and Asia open as the two guard on the opposite side. So they're good shooters. They need to shoot because that's part of our game, and did enough there. Disappointed in a few areas, but we scored enough points and defended well enough to get that W and get out of there. I thought we should have done a much better job rebounding, but we didn't. And that was something that we focused on going into the next game at New Mexico State.
Emma Hess with 1,000 points as well, which is it's an accomplishment that I know right now she's got her eyes focused on a lot of other things and conference championships and NCAA tournaments. But when she's able to step back and a few years after she graduates, I know that'll be a big-time accomplishment that she'll be proud of.
No doubt. She has been a great addition to our program. We're certainly blessed with her desire to play, and she was just a perfect fit for Liberty, and outstanding, beautiful shot. And we celebrate with her for that 1,000+ points that she's going to have in her career. And we look forward to what she's going to do from here on out, too, with a few games, 12 games left, I think. And then we got conference tournament coming up. And we need her to, or we want her to light them up from the outside. And, she was challenged early with that triangle. I mean, not triangle, but box and one. But she let the game come to her, and at the end, that's when she really stepped it up and got a lot of points there in the third, fourth quarter.
Your girls keep getting their 1,000 points on the road. You got to tell them, hey, you work this out like Hank Aaron got his. He broke Babe Ruth's record at home, and he got to celebrate with the home fans. But it seems like it's always road games. Bella did the same thing down at Louisiana Tech last year. And I'm trying to remember. I think Bridget was in Texas when she got her 1,000th point. I don't remember where Maya was. Maybe she was at home. But, it seems like they like to do it when there's not a home crowd to celebrate with them. But you take it any way that you can get it. You go on now after that. Short turnaround, 36 hours or so, and you're playing New Mexico State, who's playing some great basketball this year. They're always tough to play in their building. You're still dealing with altitude, even more altitude in Las Cruces than you got in El Paso. And the shots, boy, it looked like you were in your home gym.
Well, it began like on Friday night. We had pretty intense practice the night before. And I'm looking at them, I go, oh, no, it's not looking good. They seem to be gassed out and struggling just with one or two trips down the floor. Apparently, they got good night's rest, good food, and hydrated, and they did come out shooting the ball very well. Had to, because, wow, New Mexico State was shooting the ball very well. The first 4 or 5 minutes, it was, I'd say, both teams shooting about 80% from the field. And we had to hang in there and just pulled away a little bit at the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, got a little more opportunity, spread them out. We made our shots that we didn't make against UTEP the night or 2 nights before, and made these shots, and a lot of people were involved, and a lot of people contributed in a very positive way. That was a great win. We were challenged defensively because Kaiser is just an outstanding ball player. I could see her possibly earning, the player of the year because she dropped 31 points on us. Maybe we could play a little bit better, but she's a good shooter. and plays so hard. We certainly respect her, and great win for us, though.
You're talking about those first quarter numbers. Your girls shot 64%. Their team shot 57%. It just was, like you said, it would look like it was going to be a sprint back up and down the court. It settled in a little bit in the second half, and we saw Bella Smuda start getting some more touches, and she was able to kind of put her imprint on the game by the time it ended.
Right. As I said, we had a lot of people contribute, and Bella stepped in, Emmy Stout, giving her rest. Ping came in, knocked down some threes at a critical time. So it was a good team win. We needed that, and especially coming from the bench, because it's hard to go back-to-back, play 2 games, and have 30-plus minutes within a 48-hour period.
I think there's a few girls on your team that would say, yeah, well, let's do it. Yeah, 40 minutes every game. I think Jordan Hodges would play until you got one of those hooks like you see on the old cartoons and just hooked her off the stage. She'd stay out there as long as you'd let her play. But I know that's a player's mentality. Heck, when you and I are playing pickup ball, we don't want to lose and have to sit out in game and wait to get next. You want to keep playing, but get to a certain point, especially at my age and your age, we're at the point now. You got me by a couple of years, but we probably can't quite pull that off like we would have wanted to. I think Jordan probably still can. While all that's going on in Bowling Green, WKU beats Middle Tennessee, and so right now your team is a half game in first place, 5-1. MTSU's 4-1, La Tech's 4-2, first place in the conference. And I say that with an asterisk, and I think you'd say the same thing. The games aren't even. They play on Thursday night. If they win Thursday night, it's a tie. It's basically a tie, and they still would have the tiebreaker because they've won the earlier game. So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but it's still pretty cool to look at the standings at this point in the year and see Liberty right there on the top of the list.
Yeah, Jamie, we work hard at it. But we've only played 6 games. We got 12 more games, so we're at 1/3 of the way. And if you would look back and reflect what we went through last year, we're sitting about 4th or 5th place this time last year, with I think maybe 3 losses, if not 4. It was pretty ugly. We had lost the first 2 ball games and maybe 3 in a row. But anyway, it was difficult. We made the climb out, so we got a lot of basketball in front of us. 1/3 of our season and conference is over with, so it can go crazy. But I'd rather be sitting right now at the top. And as you said, just the number wise, we're sitting at number 1 only because we got 1 more game. And once it's tied, I think they'll get the nod because it's a tiebreaker.
Still got everybody to play at least 1 more time, and like you mentioned, half the teams haven't even played yet. So there is a lot left to go. It's a big weekend, and we'll get to the extracurricular reason why it's a big weekend in a second, because it's going to be really fun on Saturday for what I'm alluding to, teasing. So everybody stick with us. But let's talk about the game first, and an FIU team that was preseason, had super high expectations. They've been hit by the injury bug. They're still 7-10 overall. They've won some games that you maybe were surprised that they won with the injuries. They beat Western Kentucky, and then they've lost some games that you scratch your head at a little bit. You maybe be surprised that they lost, but they're still a dangerous team, a very physical team.
Yeah, very talented, even though they've had a lot of injuries, and who knows how they're going to finish, because, again, they have 12 games left and how they're going to finish. Very talented and physical, as you were saying. Went to, had the game at UTEP while we was playing at New Mexico, had that game with a 15-point lead and let UTEP come back and beat them. But, as you said, also went to Western Kentucky and won at Western Kentucky. So we certainly respect them. They're well coached and they're really physical. and we have to be prepared for that.
What are some I guess keys to that game for the fans that are going to be coming out on Saturday? Some matchups, maybe some things that they need to kind of be paying attention to.
Well, if they're really going to come with a lot of pressure, which I assume they will, we got to be able to drive the ball and not just look for and search for a three-pointer. We need to get to the basket and maybe score some layups or get to the foul line. As you look back at the New Mexico State, we shot 26 free throws. That's the most we shot all year. So our game plan has to be just let the game come to us, let it work, and yet when they put pressure, need to be able to handle their pressure, especially with how they may try to ice ball screens and things like that. But we just got to be able to attack as well as have some balance on our perimeter shooting, not just rely on that.
Jumping back to the New Mexico State game real quick, it seemed like the first half, from a turnovers perspective, was right where you wanted to be. If I remember right, you were actually forcing more than you had given up in the first half, and then that kind of flipped in the second half. And I know some of that could be those legs are starting to get tired from a long trip out west and the elevation and all those things kind of factor in. But what went well in the first half of that game, because I'm assuming you're going to see some of this same type of pressure, not just FIU, but other teams that you played this year, and what are the things in the second half that you need to work on?
Well, we really didn't let New Mexico speed us up, and we moved the ball and spread the ball around, didn't hold on to it very much. And again, New Mexico as well as FIU are pretty athletic, and they get up in you, and we handled that pressure pretty good. Second half, maybe it was our legs. There was a lot of walking being called. I can think of at least 3 or 4. And I can't deny that we didn't walk. We got happy feet, shuffle them a little bit instead of settling in and not letting the offense work. And we rush. And when we rush, we have trouble making quick decisions. And as I said, we have some happy feet that move a little bit too much. And we've got to handle the pressure better than what we did. Decision-making at that point in time was not very good. So it's a combination of things, and just letting our offense work and handling their pressure and still being able to attack and get to the free throw line.
Let's jump to the off the court. I guess technically it'll be on the court because they'll have a nice little ceremony presentation where you guys are standing on the court. But you got some really familiar faces that are going to be coming into town. Some old OLE, not old Flames that are going to be coming in. Kind of a reunion Saturday, 50th anniversary of the program, 20th anniversary of that Sweet 16 run, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a time to throw a party, and we're grateful that Liberty University invested in women 50 years ago and in the game of basketball, and the coaches and the players that have come through the program the last 50 years ago. I think it's safe to say, you know, our focus is building champions for Christ on the court and off the court. I'm so excited that we've got, just in my time here, I've got vets, I've got doctors, I have nurse practitioners, nurses, teachers, coaches, people in criminal justice, law officers. I'm so excited to see how they take their experience here at Liberty, and their lives were changed, and they're out there in the world with strong character, impacting the world as their values are focused on eternal values and making a difference for Christ. And for me, just to be part of that, wow, that's such a blessing, a privilege. And we're grateful to see those familiar faces, and some of that may not be in the time I was here, okay? It's welcoming everybody to come back, connect, maybe for the first time, and reconnect with teammates that they have maybe had an experience with for 4 to 5 years, And just with our current senior administration, Dr. Dondi Costin and Ian McCall, and some of them may remember Erin McEwen Hagan, because she was an outstanding volleyball player here. I know she was with some of the girls. She knows, and just to be able to introduce them to our current players and also to our senior administration is going to be an exciting time. Just have some finger food and reflect back and reconnect is going to be great. And by the way, Jamie, you've got to close up radio quick. You need to get up there quick because at least in my time and even before my time, I think you've been involved with a majority of the players we've had here in the last 50 years, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Well, I was going to give you a hard time, or not a hard time, but I was going to say, of the 50 years, you've been here for more than half of. You've been the head coach for over half of the existence of the women's basketball program. But then, as I was saying that, I was like, well, I've got to go back, I think, 5 years earlier than that. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm even more experienced as far as that. There's going to be some folks that come up, some of the girls that come up, some of the husbands and the managers and the assistant coaches
right.
from over the years that are going to come up, and it's going to take me a second to go. But then when it clicks, go, oh my goodness, good to see you again.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the people like you are still in the area. You have Chris Carroll, who was an assistant on the Sweet 16 team coming in, and a few little secrets coming in. They're going to be secrets. Some girls coming in from Lithuania and Portugal, and just some girls that we were blessed with here, and just having a great relationship with them on the basketball team. And locals like Adam Deo and Kelly Deo, who's doing the TV, and Adam and Kelly was on my staff here. So it's an exciting time for us just to, as I say, revisit, reconnect, and fellowship together.
I don't think I've mentioned this, but when you mentioned Chris Carroll, it made me think of the guy that came in and replaced him, which I saw from a distance at a WNBA game a couple of, maybe a year and a half ago. But then Olaf Lang is who I'm referring to, and him and his wife Sandy won a WNBA championship this year.
Correct. I've been so blessed with players and a coaching staff in my time here. It's amazing. I just want to praise God for it. And as you said, Olaf was my assistant for a couple years, and went from here right into the WNBA. And he had always been around. And Sandy, his wife, they lived here for 2 years. Their firstborn, Brody, was born here and at the hospital, and is it Lynchburg Baptist, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay. And her mother came in from Australia. She played on the Australian Olympic team for about 4 years. So she put at least 16 years and played in the WNBA here, played professionally overseas. And actually that's where Olaf and Sandy met, was during the off-season playing in Europe. And Olaf originally from Germany, has citizenship from Germany, and came over here. And so we've been blessed. I got here, before I got here, Rick Reeves and Roger Hodge, and, we've been very, very blessed. And I think we got still Angie Whitt hanging mm-hmm. around here. She's worked at Liberty, was still working mm-hmm. at Liberty, and her family. It's going to be a family reunion. Yeah, I may not remember some of them, but some of them I shouldn't even know because they didn't play with me. But it's a family reunion, and we're here to celebrate and give God glory for what He's done for the last 50 years, changing lives, building character, and helping us to stay focused on eternal values in our own lives.
It's funny that you say that, and we don't probably talk about this as much either, but after Olaf left, that was when Alexis came in, Andy came in, and they've been with you ever since.
Yeah, I can't run those guys off, I guess. Or they thinking, man, this is a gravy train job, Coach don't require much. But no, Those are just high quality people, both Andy and Alexis, and they're special to me personally. And then you have to add Katie. I mean, a former player coming back, really been blessed. And you got to throw in Sarah Baruda. That's a good combination, isn't it? Sarah Baruda, who's been with me for a long time as well. So I've really been blessed. And currently, Dan Lumpkin, I've known him for over 30 years or even more. And just excited with my complete coaching staff, Will Graham working with our strength and conditioning, and Laura Macuso keeping us glued together from a trainer. So it's going to be a great time just to celebrate, eat some cake or whatever, and just reconnect.
I got to ask you this, because you were going down the list of some of the staff. Amber Lee, she is her official role jack of all trades because she does a little bit of everything?
Yeah, I cannot say too much about her because she's just amazing. She's a great administrator. She builds relationships very well with the players, and her social media was not exactly why. Well, it was the reason I hired her, but it wasn't too much on her resume there. But she was a high quality type of person, loved the Lord, came in wanting to grow in her faith and grow character. So she was a perfect fit. I'm grateful to have her here. She played at a very competitive and really high educational Maryville College. I've had a niece that went there, and I'm originally from the Maryville, Alcoa area, so I know how demanding the rigors and academics are at that school. In fact, Miss Harbrace, I can't even think of her first name, but Harbrace was the one that wrote the Harbrace handbook for writing in English. She's a school teacher there. She was a professor there. I would never passed her class. But Amber went there, and she does so much, so many things, video, and she's a point guard, and she's tough. She's tough, and we're certainly glad to have her and her family as well. Her mom, dad, both are great people, and especially her dad is in HR work, and they know about higher education.
You've got a great group all the way around because, I mean, we start talking and we don't want to forget somebody. Chelsea has stepped in and has been a great assistant to Sarah over the last couple of years. You got some great managers with Sophie and Goldie and that whole group, and so I'll speak for you in saying you're pretty blessed with a great group of individuals that really are passionate about this.
Yeah, and you got Heather and Jesse Stevens too. You know, here's a local, and Jesse was a manager, and those two she was an assistant with me and ended up getting married. They got 2 children. She just won a state championship, and they're strong supporters of ours. And, I'd be getting myself in trouble if I didn't really put emphasis on, I got a trophy wife. We're talking about top shelf trophy wife that's been here with me in the ups and downs, and not too many downs, but such an encourager, and she is involved right now. She's retired from Liberty, but she's not retired. She's working with Thomas Road with the Widows Ministry. She loves that, and she's my number one fan. A great, great wife, trophy wife, and a great mother, and even super, super great grandmother. And we kid, she's a super trophy grandmother. And now I've got my own granddaughter saying, "Hey, I'm a trophy granddaughter." And I said, "Yes, you are." She's the one and only. And yes, she is, Evie. So I've got great family. Brian and Angie supporting everything from years back, before even Liberty at Clemson. We were together in Clemson, and just love them and see where they're at and how their focus is on eternal values, and they follow the Lord there. And 3 John verse 4 says, "There's no greater joy than know your children walk in the truth." And we know who the truth is, Jesus. And that can be translated as your children, your grandchildren, your players, your students, those all around you. So I've been so blessed to have the people around me, and including you, Jamie. You know, you're on the rough edges, but thank you for this opportunity to celebrate this thing together.
It's been a fun ride, and I know there's a lot more loops and turns and twists like a roller coaster ahead, and looking forward to all of them. But I would be remiss to not mention this before we close up the program. Somebody that has been impactful in both of our lives. Didn't have the pleasure of playing for him. I wasn't a baseball guy, but Johnny Hunton,
yes,
coach back in the 90s, has been a part of the ministry here between Liberty and Thomas Road for decades and decades, and passed away earlier this week. And so we'll miss him a lot, but boy, what an impact he had on a lot of people.
Yes. Jamie, my heart's saddened because we've lost him, but our loss is his gain. And the guy was I'm talking about great mentor. I've had experiences with him. He was not only involved with baseball, but every sport. I've got a book he wrote, and in addition to that, he was tied into the Gideons and the prison ministry. He is a great guy to just let him mentor you and come along, because you're going to get love, but you're going to get the truth too. So he was sort of a prophet in that way. But our hearts go out to his wife, Patricia, in these difficult times, because, they were so close. He would exhale and she would inhale in the same breath. And we just pray that God would just love on her and fill that void and just squeeze on her. And I think it was a privilege and a blessing to know Johnny, and for us to have him here in our community, not only at Liberty, but in our community. He's such a blessing and a godly man.
He was one of those guys that, and we talked about this off the air, that he would say things that would just stick with you, and blunt. He's going to tell you the truth. If he needs to hit you with the Bible, he's going to hit you with the Bible. If he needs to give you a hug, he's going to give you a hug. If he needs to tease you, he's going to tease you. But one of my friends, Chris Weigel, was standing around after church at Thomas Road. This years ago, back in the old sanctuary over on Thomas Road. And Johnny came up to us and said, "Hey, what are you boys doing? Slumming?" And that sums up Johnny right there. He had a hidden sense of humor. You didn't always know it was there, but then he would give you that wink and walk away. And 20 years later, when I see Chris Weigel, I say, "What have you been up to? Slumming?" That's something that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life. But he was a great encourager, and a lot of people don't realize this, but he was kind of right next to Duke Westover, was one of the right-hand men with Jerry Falwell Sr. back when in the last probably 5 to 10 years of his life too. So he was one of his assistants and big-time encourager.
Yeah, I think in summary you can say he was a godly leader that we got to have the experience here at Liberty, in athletics, in our community at Thomas Road, because he was going to sing at Thomas Road only about a month ago, and his health failed. And from a basketball perspective, he's a tough little cookie. He played baseball and basketball at the University of Maryland. So, yeah, he'd come in and talk point guard stuff. Like, "Coach, you need to do this. And I said, "Yeah, Johnny, you're right. But such a blessing."
Well, he's definitely going to be missed. And like you said, our prayers out to his wife, Pat, as she goes through this mourning period. But, Coach, great show. appreciate everything and really look forward to seeing you and all the former Lady Flames, the current Lady Flames too. You guys need to win a basketball game first, and then after you guys win the basketball game, let's have a lot of fun with those former Lady Flames on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie.
That's going to do it for us. If you want information on how you can get tickets to that game against FIU, Saturday, 1 o'clock start, early start time, you can go to libertyflames.com, find all that out. If you can't come to the game, if you're out of town, if you're out of the state and you can't make it, you can also follow on Liberty Flames. It'll give you the link to the television, the radio, and I got a feeling we'll probably grab a few of the girls as the game goes along, maybe grab them at halftime or have a couple of color commentators throughout the course of the game. And so follow along with our YouTube and Facebook live channel, and you'll be able to kind of see how they're doing as well. Until we talk again, this is Jamie Hall saying so long and God bless.
You've been listening to the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Radio Show with head coach Carey Green. Today's show has been presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show has also been brought to you by Carter Bank, Life Lived Full, Earthright Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Freedom Heating and Air, serving those who serve us. Carl Miller Realty, caring, competent, trusted advisors. Lynchburg Nissan, nobody beats our prices. Nobody. Century Exteriors, experience and quality you can trust. Schedule a free estimate at centuryexteriors.com. And by Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow. Liberty Flames Basketball is an exclusive presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.